Hey there, Discover South Florida coming to you live once again from Podcast Junkie Studios in downtown Boca Raton. Here he is, the man himself, back from Colombia, Larry Mastropieri, broker owner of the Mastropieri Group. And as always, we have Ben Castro behind the camera, running everything, being the shady guy that he is. I'm just kidding, Ben. And I'm John Laws, here to talk about all things real estate. And wow, we have plenty of drama for your mama this week. It was an incredible week with the One Boca versus the Save Boca. We've got things off the notes here that we need to discuss just because they've been so hot. But man, Boca's been saved. Hopefully that's what you wanted. Boca's been saved. We'll get to that. But first, we have the Breakers, which has acquired a West Palm Beach site for employee workforce housing. I believe we've talked about this before, but there have been some new developments with that. So essentially, an affiliate of the Breakers paid a combined $9.1 million. This was for a 2.4-acre assemblage on North Australian Avenue, plus an adjacent parcel picked up in late 24 for $2.3 million. Now, the West Palm Beach City Commission already approved an 8-story, 155-unit apartment complex on this combined site, reserved exclusively for resort employees. Now, the waterfront property sits along Lake Mangonia in a corridor that is quickly becoming one of West Palm's most active infill redevelopment zones. So obviously, when you run a huge development like the Breakers, which is, of course, very iconic as well, you need the staff to make it work. So here we are, workforce housing. Larry, what are your initial thoughts on this?
Did you know that? No, I didn't know.
Probably the safe answer is no.
Well, the Breakers is one of Palm Beach County's biggest employers.
No, I did not know that.
With, what does it say here? Over 2,400 employees.
Dang.
So they got a lot of
people. I knew it was big. I didn't realize it was that big.
They got a lot of people working for them. And so, this makes a lot of sense, right?
Yeah.
To me, it makes a lot of sense. And it's a signal that affordable housing is very hard to come by.
Right.
And so they're taking it into their own hands, right?
Right.
And we knew this. We're like, this is a trend. But this is just, again, supporting the obvious. Well, what we think is obvious is, hey, it's expensive to live here, and working for a hotel is not enough in most cases to support a living, and so we can subsidize that by putting together some housing. Some of the other interesting benefits of this is you kind of control things a little bit more, right? They were talking about how if we have good, strong, stable housing, then we can retain employees better, which will retain or improve the quality of service because these people have been here. You're not retraining, et cetera, et cetera. You have that institutional knowledge built in because people stay longer, which is interesting. The other thing is, these guys employ, it says, it relieves heavy, the Breakers rely heavily on seasonal or temporary staff. And last year received approval to bring in 249H2B visa workers, right?
I honestly would have thought they had more, especially considering, because that's only represents roughly 10% of the workforce there?
And I'm sure they staff up quite a bit too during certain seasons, right? And then staff down depending, right? Like an example right now during the season, right? There's I guarantee there's more bodies there working, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, this is the signal. The other thing which is interesting is this isn't the first real estate transaction the Breakers has done. They've been involved in buying a lot of stuff. I think it says it here. Well, number one, they bought, there was a comment about they bought in 2024 the Palm Beach Post Office from billionaire Jeff Green for $28 million. These guys are spending money.
Oh, wow.
They've also bought along that same corridor or the adjacent areas, they've bought a lot of stuff just to kind of control the atmosphere, right? So they are heavily invested in the area. They are trying to kind of control and preserve the ambiance. Is the pitch here.
How was the Palm Beach Post Office in a spot worth $28 million?
Well, maybe we could throw it on the screen. I think it's right in between. Let's put it up, Ben, if you want to search it. Palm Beach Post Office by the Breakers or something. And
I guess if it is right by the Breakers, then
it's
it
right by
makes
the
sense.
It's right by the Breakers. It's in between. It's in between their It's in between their golf course and close by. So, and it's a historical property.
Right.
Which is quite interesting.
Yeah, that's the linchpin. If it's historical, then, if you told me,
found it.
I was going to say, if you told me Meisner designed it or something, it's the Meisner designed post office, then yeah.
It's on the national list of historic registry. Let's see. It also says, where was I reading this? Owning a landmark building that sits between your golf course and the main commercial corridor is an obvious priority.
Yeah.
You don't want someone else controlling that real estate. And Green, he can be sassy. He can do what he wants. So exactly, it's right there. It's literally right next to their stuff.
I think that's the most incredibly located post office in the entire United States.
Yeah, $28 million for the post office property. Right? Yeah. Yep.
Oh, man.
And they say this wasn't an optimistic buy. It was a capstone of a deliberate, decade-long campaign. The Breakers-related purchase in the area include nearly all the buildings on the north side of Royal Poinciana Way. I don't know, Ben, can you throw up Royal Poinciana Way? Between Bradley Place and North County Road, with transactions totaling over $100 million. So they've spent over $100 million in real estate. So this deal, and most of these transactions were to kind of preserve the ambiance, the flow, the vibe of that area that their Breakers Hotel is in, and kind of control that, while also just investing, reinvesting. But this deal is a little different. This is, hey, we're going to develop 150 plus apartments for our people, and it's not on the island. All this other stuff was on Palm Beach Island, basically, that they've been investing in. At least the stuff that's on the list that I'm looking at right here.
Yeah, so. And it certainly is a credit to the people who run the Breakers to have the foresight of understanding that we're going to need to make some long-term investments to keep the quality standards to what the Breakers has earned a reputation of being, and coupled with what you said before, just that we know workforce housing is incredibly hard to come by, and wow, that we are prepared to make that kind of investment to keep it going. That's good for them.
Again, I think it's like part of like the, I don't want to say vertical integration of, right? Because that's not really what this is, but it's a part of like controlling different parts of your business model.
Right. That is a fair way of putting it, though.
Staff is super important. That's just what it is. And and if you can control that and improve that, that makes sense. And again, it's been tough. I guarantee it for them. So again, the difference though is they have to execute on construction here. So which is interesting, right? And so we'll see how that goes. They got the city behind them. This is fully supported by the city, from what I can see, right? Because again, affordable housing and all that stuff is a big push. And it's in not a bad location. It's off of North Australian Ave. And it sits at an intersection, they say, of three major growth corridors: downtown West Palm to the south, Northwood Redevelopment District to the north, and Palm Beach Lakes Commercial Corridor to the west. And it says the district at Northwood is about a half-mile away, and it's bringing about 382 residential units and 63,000 square feet of retail to the area. The Nora District, roughly a mile northeast, is also emerging as one of the most talked about new lifestyle hubs. We've talked about this a ton. And then they have the Olara, which is a luxury waterfront condo project with two 26-story towers that sits about a mile east of Flagler Drive. I mean, we can keep going all day here, reading off the list of things that are going down in West Palm Beach. So this is just yet another element here, and thank you, Ben. That's exactly where it is. So it's not too far from, like, you can see where the Breakers is in proximity. It's that golf course in the bottom right corner, that green down there, right? And it's not far. This is great.
It's reasonable.
I'm sure they're gonna have. Shuttles, right? For the first shift, for the second shift, pretty easy, pretty efficient. Jump on the shuttle, get to work. So now you don't have the commute issue. You have affordable housing, kind of control when people jump in and jump out of the cars to get there. Probably less parking on site in some cases for employees, which is nice. And so again,
and at the same time, with all of the things you were just mentioning, the developments, as we've talked about many times, it makes it much more appealing for people in the hospitality industry who yes, they might want to work at the Breakers anyway, but if you have a number of places that somebody's considering working and you see all that going on, you're going to likely bring in a better class of worker, that wants, because it makes it a much more, within the industry, a much more high demand position. So I think that's going to work out really well for them.
I do too. And for anybody who doesn't have the history on the Breakers is kind of a big deal, right? Yeah. Founded in 1896 by Henry Flagler, who, the train guy brought the train down this way to Florida, and they began to kind of develop this area. Henry Flagler was super influential. The current structure on the property right now was redone in 1926. And it's listed on the National Register of Historic Places, which is a big deal. And it's a 534 guest. It has 534 guest rooms on 140 acres with a half mile private beach, 4 oceanfront pools, 10 restaurants, 2 championship golf courses, spa, fitness center, the whole deal. So this is like a very, very high-end establishment, to say the least, right? Yeah. I don't know what the prices are there, but it's astronomical per night during season. And we're just bananas pricing. So, and again, they're one of the Palm Beach County's biggest employers. And so that's their background. It's a really beautiful property, really cool. If you have the opportunity to go check it out, it's awesome. So,
or just a wannabe social media influencer who wants to try to flex and put themselves in the lobby of that, because you've never seen somebody take a picture in the lobby of that place ever, I'm sure.
Totally, but by the way, it's not easy to get in there.
No, it's not. No, it is. It's beautiful. It is. It's a nice establishment for sure.
So let's get on to the next one, which is downtown Boca Raton condo project secures $70 million construction loan. Yeah. And this is a project we've talked about, and it's moving dirt. It's happening. They have the foundation in. This is the Glass House at Boca Raton, and they've just secured their next phase of funding, which is $70 million to, as they say, go vertical, right? So the foundation, as we discussed, is done. They're more than a third of the 28 units pre-sold. So they've sold a third of the 28 units at this point, and prices starting at $2.7 million. And by the way, the $2.7 million ones are nice. Glass House is beautiful, but they're like the bottom street view, not super interesting units. They're nice. They're in Glass House, super walkable, great location, and we can show on the screen where it's at, which is prime real estate.
It's right down the road from here, isn't it?
We can walk there basically. Mm-hmm. So again, it's walkable to downtown Boca Raton, which is basically where we're at right now. It's walkable to the beach as well. Yeah, there it is, right there, baby.
Okay, so here's a question. I remember going by that place when they were initially tearing it down about maybe a year ago. Whatever was in its place before that, I saw when they were moving dirt. Do they clear the site and then just sit and wait for I guess they got to wait for the check to clear in terms of getting a construction loan to go from there? That's usually how this process goes.
They have certain thresholds with the lender that they have to hit on the pre-sale front.
Oh,
so they have their office right across the street. They rented space from, as we mentioned, probably Jim Meadlock. Yeah. All right, who owns everything here, and so they have their little office and they have their showroom, and they start trying to sell these condos. When they hit a certain threshold, they usually can start moving dirt. Got it. And then sometimes these lenders have tiered targets, right? So okay, now we have the foundation in. Now we'll release the next funding, which is where we're at right now. So foundation's in. They've continued to pre-sell. There's not a lot of units to sell, frankly. There's 28 units in the building. It's kind of a small boutique building, very, very nice looking. This is going to be really cool for downtown Boca. It's different. It's aesthetically very pleasing. Lots of glass, thus Glass House, right? That's how they got the name. Yeah. So yeah, shown on the map there. I mean, it's in a great prime downtown location. And if you're on some of the higher floors, there you go. If you're on some of the higher floors and you're facing south, which I think is some awesome real estate, you're looking at the Boca Raton Club golf courses. You're looking at the Alina kind of in that direction as well. You could probably see some ocean, depending. You definitely probably see some intercoastal, So it's a really pretty view, especially southward facing. I mean, you get a lot of sun, right? So the southern exposure is really nice. And also the southern exposure there doesn't have a lot of traffic or road noise. On the northern exposure, you're on Palmetto. So if you're on the northern exposure on like the second floor, you're going to have road noise on your balcony. Yeah. You're not going to have it in the unit, but you'll have it on the balcony because again, it's so insulated with the impact windows and all that stuff. But yeah, we've kind of spent a little bit of time with the sales team.
Well, and I was going to say I couldn't help but smirk because when you go east on Palmetto Park Road right there, seeing that huge open plot of land, what is it, One Ocean, what's the name of that place that is still just an empty lot? I saw it on the map there. I was like, oh, there it is. It is still just sitting there.
Well, Ben, if you pop up on the map again.
I don't want to go too far off topic, but I just couldn't help it. I'm just like, oh, there you are. I forgot what you've been doing.
You can just pull up and we'll walk around Palmetto real quick. Mm-hmm. So if you zoom in.
Because it's a big, the fact that I could see it.
Yeah, so there's a couple plots that are vacant right now. If you zoom in, right, keep zooming in there. So you can expect more construction. See that vacant lot there? This is not the one you're referencing.
No, it's not.
But yeah, that one, that's going to be another condo project here at some point. And then, Ben, if you go way east, go to
on the other side of the bridge.
Beach. Yeah, go over the bridge. Keep going. There you go. Boom. See that big piece of dirt? Keep going east.
And my God, they cleared that. I remember fall of 22.
So that one, again, this isn't the one we're talking about, but here's another one. This is kind of going, this is proposed to be townhome / retail first floor / condo. That's been sitting for a little while. We'll see. That's like less, that's cool. Like let it get done. It'll be great, but like less interesting. The bigger project, keep going east. Boom. This thing's huge. And so this has been sitting for a
remember
while.
when they were tearing it down. It was like August of 22 was when they were tearing that down.
Yep. I remember there used to be a Coldwell Banker office there. There was a big office building. There was a bunch of other stuff. So they kind of combined a couple parcels. This is a great piece of real estate to build on. And this will be an epic project. I can't wait till they finish it. And it's going to be a really nice condo project. But we digress. There's a lot. There's a lot to.
I know.
There's
I just couldn't help it. Yeah.
Yeah. All these cities here in South Florida, they all have these like sleeper parcels that are just waiting to get knocked off, right? Or
sleeper projects,
or zombie projects is what the other one we call it. Yeah. So anyway, 10-story glass house, got another $70 million to go build the next phase here. They're moving along. This thing is going to get done. From my perspective, 28 residences, 2,500 to 3,900 square feet. They got 9-foot ceilings, floor to ceiling impact glass, as we just discussed, private terraces on every single unit. And what's cool about this project too, that I'll throw out there, is the rooftop amenity deck. It's got the pool, it's got the jacuzzi, it's got private cabanas, fire pits, etc., all the outdoor catering, kitchen, stuff like that. And so what I love about that is a lot of the other buildings in the area don't really have a true rooftop pool. There are some, but the most of the newer ones haven't done that.
I wonder why, because that's usually a pretty popular amenity.
I like it because you got sun all day. If you're on the roof.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
But I'm saying like a lot of places you don't see. Why would you not have that?
Yeah, it's interesting. Well, first off, there's not a lot of dirt that they're building on here, so there's not a lot of land. Oh. So they had to figure out where to put this thing, right? Mm-hmm. And to follow up to that, there's so little land, they had to put the pool on the roof, and then they had to dig a hole to put the cars in. Right?
Oh, does this have an underground
parking? Yeah.
Oh, geez.
So we'll see how that goes too. So we got water on the roof, and then we got a reverse pool underground to keep the water out of the garage. And so there's just a risk of water everywhere, probably.
I was going to say, I'm sure there's going to be some sleepless nights for the contractors in the near future.
Yeah. So this is an awesome project, and we're all super excited that it'll be done soon, and it'll definitely improve the area. And long story short, it's going to be positive.
My last question before we move on to the next thing. Seeing those other projects that have not really broken ground, and seeing Glass House getting the construction approval, the loans and whatnot, and moving forward. Is it like a balancing act between appealing to potential buyers versus ambition? You know what I mean? Like, is there like a certain science to making these work to where you can actually get the loans to get these things started? I'm just trying to understand like the whole, the big picture.
It's not that simple, right?
Right.
I think is the whole thing, right? Okay. And so like every parcel's different. Mm-hmm. Well, we were just talking about it. We talking about Bat Mazium's project here that's getting huge pushback.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So he's getting huge pushback. So now what are they going to have to do? They're going to have to maybe adjust size of the project and scope and scale, right? To your point, maybe too ambitious at first. Then you just have, can you actually do this project? Like, can we actually engineer it the way they want to? They picked this lot up for $9.75 million in 2023.
Right.
It's 0.63 acres. That's like, it's not even an acre.
Wow.
That fits like 3 houses, in other neighborhoods, let alone they're going to build a freaking condo on this thing, which is so interesting. So yeah, to your point, it's like, this is like a pretty, I think it's the developer, it's the GC, it's the team that does this, and how good they are, and how sharp they are about picking the right project. Mm-hmm. Right. And so I think it's all of that plays into, and then it's a little bit of good fortune, right, to have a good outcome, or make money on these deals. Cause I just can, this is like, these are huge projects, so much money invested. It's like, it could go in either direction very easily. So.
All right, let's stay in Palm Beach County. We'll go from downtown Boca Raton to the other side, Jupiter, where one of the most exclusive gated communities in Palm Beach County just saw another headline deal, and it involves someone we've talked about before, engineer of the Apollo space program. I was like, NASA going to the moon, big deal. Jim Meadlock. He buys his second Bears Club estate. I guess it pays to be an engineer and send guys to the moon. $34 million. Yes. So again, this is the guy who helped engineer the Apollo missions. $34.3 million for a second mansion inside Jupiter's Bear Club. If you're not familiar with it, he had bought his first one there just 3 months ago. But it was like, one's just not enough. I got to have another. But it looks like he's already flipped. I don't know necessarily flip, but I guess he's already put the other one back on for sale. If that's my understanding,
what it looks like. Yeah. So a trust linked to Cynthia Meadlock purchased the estate at 118 Bears Club Drive from Brighton Investments SA, who is a Panamanian entity connected to a Colombian billionaire, Jimmy Mayer, who built this property with 23,000 square feet. Huge compound in 2010 after acquiring the 2.9 acre lot. So pretty big property. Look at that. Yeah.
Jimmy down in Colombia?
Jimmy down in Colombia. 2.9 acres. I wonder how he became a billionaire. 2.9 acre lot for just $900,000 in 2000. The property has been up and off the market since 2021, starting at $30 million and rising to $44 million as recently as November, before closing at $34.3 million. This is just wild to me how they're just like move prices on these like high end estates. It's just like, we were selling it for $30 million. Now let's just put it up for $44 million. What are we talking about? Yeah. And then we sell it for $34 million. It's like, wow, just picked up an extra $4 million just by messing around with the numbers. Because like the reality is these estates, they sell if somebody wants to buy it, and the guys that are buying these things
don't really.
It's not like the numbers aren't that big of a deal. In fact, the more you spend in some cases makes you look more big time, right?
Yeah, so that's what I said. Again, it feels like a flex within itself. It's like, oh well, actually, you can get this for $20 million. No, let's go at least 40. I got a reputation to maintain here.
There you go.
Oh my God,
that's crazy. That's crazy. Let's see. Jimmy Mayer heads Inversions Sanford, a Colombian holding company with 16 manufacturing enterprises and over $800 million in annual sales. So this is the seller, which is wild. The property sat on the market for nearly 4 years.
Yeah.
With the price climbing, again, as we talked about, from 30 to 44 million. Crazy. Yeah. Yeah. That gap between ask and close reflects where even ultra-luxury price pressure exists. Yeah, and that's true. I would just,
Really?
I mean, like I was just giving the speech to, and this is ultra luxury, but I was talking to somebody who I would argue is in luxury class, and we were talking about these luxury condos, such as the Glass House, projects that are similar around the area, and we were just saying there's a lot of that inventory coming on, and today we were just talking. There's a guy coming into town to work with us. He wants to buy a $12 million estate, and he was just saying, yeah, great, right? And he was just saying everything's overpriced. And he was like, he was talking about how he wants to make offers on this stuff, but he's been watching the stuff. It's been sitting for 300, 400, 600 days. Some of the new construction that I was sending him. And so it's kind of interesting. That's the state of mind of a lot of these buyers right now. Even I wouldn't consider that ultra luxury, but that's definitely luxury.
Right.
Like that's luxury.
There's ultra luxury, there's luxury, and then luxury.
So that's a fact. I think the current luxury buyers are careful, and they don't need to execute right away, and so they're just watching themselves, and so that's the case.
I was gonna say you didn't make those tens of millions of dollars by being
Reckless.
Impulsive.
Yeah,
Right?
totally. Yeah. So Meadlock spent 12 years as an IBM engineer on the Apollo space program. He went on to found M&S Computing, the firm that became Intergraph, one of the earliest CAD software companies. Interesting. Hexagon AB acquired it in 2010 for $2.1 billion. Holy smokes. Yep. Okay. But, think about the Apollo program till 2010. I mean, that
was a long time.
40 years.
Yeah, every bit of it.
Years, yeah, right? Some crazy, 100%. So, he built up a big business over that period of time. Yeah, he wasn't just the average engineer.
No.
Right?
No.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. I would certainly hope not. I was like, what? So you're saying like the best engineers weren't trying to, get our guys in position to go to the moon?
Yeah.
I mean, if we went.
Oh God!
Oh man! Yeah. I'm not even going to open. Yeah, I'm kidding.
I'm going to leave that alone.
Kidding.
Leave that alone. We're canceled. We're going to get canceled. Oh God! All right. So what is it? This is the other thing. So you were commenting on this, right? In November, he bought 146 Bear Club for $19 million off market. He listed it for $26 million in December, suggesting they're repositioning with the community rather than simply accumulating, which is interesting. So, yeah, it sounds like he either changed his mind after he bought this thing or was doing this purely as a strategy because he thought it was a deal and he just bought this and now wants to, on something else.
Or maybe he was just bored.
Yeah, I totally agree.
You're a retired engineer who's worth, a lot of money. I guess, why not? I mean, I just always wonder, do you think he even lived in there at all?
That's it. Because guess what? He owns a full floor penthouse in Jupiter, which he purchased for $600,000 in 1986, which is like,
holy crap.
That's a big number in 1986.
Yeah.
And
especially in Jupiter in 1986. There was nothing there.
There's nothing there. So, and then he listed something earlier he listed that property earlier this month for $11 million. This guy doesn't miss. Doesn't miss. Yeah. So the Bears Club has set a new benchmark every year. Last year, retired patron CEO Ed Brown sold his mansion there for a record $48 million. High-profile residents include Michael Jordan and Rory McIlroy.
I think Nick Saban bought a place in there too, or nearby.
Yeah.
Those are names.
Those are real people. All right, let's keep it moving. Let's talk about what you are so locked in on. Which is,
I mean, come on. It is the thing. You know it, and I know it. The soul of Boca Raton was on the line, Larry.
I wasn't in town.
And the people have spoken. Oh, yeah, how convenient.
I left town just, and this is what happens when I go away.
Yeah.
Can't believe it.
Yeah.
Boca Raton voters reject One Boca downtown redevelopment in a landslide.
Yeah.
So save Boca.
Boca was saved, Larry. Boca was saved. It was saved, everyone. It's all right. We're okay. We're okay.
We're all okay now. Save Boca.
All those green signs were worth it.
So Boca Raton just voted on its biggest downtown transformation in decades. Nearly 3 out of 4 voters said no. Wow.
I know.
That's
right?
like
that's a resounding.
That's a resounding no.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. On March 10th, Boca Raton voters rejected referendum question 2, the One Boca proposal, by a margin of 74.52% against 25.48% in favor. So, kind of wild.
Well, and kind of what got me when I was kind of thinking about it after the fact, the people who were very much opposed to it were very, very adamant about it. You know, I mean, I'll openly admit I was in favor of it just because, you know, it looked like a cool project, that you had some new buildings, everything else.
Sure. Yeah.
You know, it's like, I'm not originally from here. So, yeah, of course, I'm in favor of things like this. But I'm not losing sleep over it one way or the other, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sure that most of the people who were in favor of it probably felt the same way. It's like, yeah, you know, take it, but, you know, life goes on regardless. Where the people who are against it, it's like, so help me God, we are going to vote this thing down or we are going to burn Boca to the ground. You know, I mean, people are really fired up about it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it's like, hey, well, you got what you wanted. Are you happy now? Are you happy now?
I hope you're happy.
Please. Yeah, it's okay. You got what you wanted.
Yeah. So those of you who don't know what we're talking about, here's what this is the project. The project would have leased 7.8 acres of city-owned land near the Brightline station to developer Terra Group and Frisbee Group for 99 years. In exchange, the city would have received a new city hall, community center, and police station alongside a boutique hotel, grocery store, a 947 residential unit building or buildings. So voters also rejected referendum question 1, a separate $175 million bond measure to fund a new police headquarters, with 54.66% votes against it, which is interesting. So we're just going to do nothing.
Yeah. I was just kind of like, okay, because that's what I find interesting about a lot of these projects that people are so vehemently opposed to. It's like, okay, you don't want to build things up to make it look like Brickell. Believe me, I totally understand that. I wouldn't want it either. But some of these buildings, you know, I see these old strip malls and other things. It's like they kind of need a facelift. You need to put some new stuff in there. You know, it doesn't mean it needs to blow up and do a high rise because, of course, as we've talked about many times, there's building restrictions anyway, thank God. But
yeah,
it needs to be modernized. I don't think that's a tall ask.
Yep. Let's drill down this further. So One Boca was a $4 billion public-private redevelopment that critics, led by Save Boca Raton movement, characterized as a 99-year giveaway of public land to out-of-town developers. Okay, so that's like the criticism, right?
Right, which is fair.
Yeah. The Save Boca campaign, founded by Jonathan Perlman, argued the project would worsen traffic, increase density, and permanently surrender control of publicly owned land near Memorial Park. All right. Supporters, including the Greater Boca Raton Chamber of Commerce, framed it as a way to modernize aging civics infrastructure without raising taxes directly, and that argument did not land.
No.
And then the police bond found separately on concerns over a 30-year property tax increase, even though the city acknowledged its current headquarters is no longer hurricane rated and was built for much smaller workforces. So, which is interesting. So basically, where are we now is basically the next step, right? This is what we need to talk about. So here it is. All development progress on the One Boca site ceases. That's it. 7.8 acres near the Brightline station reverts to city control with no redevelopment plan in place. The city must find an alternate path to address the aging city hall and the funding gap for public safety facilities, right? Likely through more modest renovations or smaller scale proposals. The political landscape in Boca Raton shifted significantly on the same night we were talking about this.
Oh, my God.
Save Boca founder Jonathan Perlman won a city council seat, joined by Michelle Graw, if that's how you say her name, and Stacy Sipple, both Save Boca endorsed candidates, right? Won. Together, they formed a new majority bloc committed to green space and residents' input over high-density growth.
And you know what? That was a good platform to run on because, man,
Yeah.
if you were on the other side of that one, clearly you were not somebody who was favored by the rest of the community. Wow.
And the mayoral race is headed to a recount, with candidates separated by as few as 6 votes.
Oh,
right.
What did both of them say? We don't want one Boca either, I swear.
Yeah. So what does this mean for people who live in that area? Can you pull up, Ben, that location so we can show people real quick where it is? You know, we were excited about it. I thought it was going to be cool. Let's see. Is that it? Zoom out real quick. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Just a little zoom. There you go. So you can kind of see that whole little sector all over there. North of it, you know, where again, I was pretty excited for it. I thought it would be cool.
Yeah.
Again, people are going to hate us for saying that. 75% of the people will hate us for saying that.
I know. I'm like, hey, you got what you wanted, all right?
Yeah. Is this what it is?
No, but this is what I keep thinking about. One, originally there wasn't even going to be a vote for it. Two, it was 30 some odd acres initially, the original plan?
Yeah.
I mean, which it's like, wow, no wonder everyone was going crazy. This one was, 75% less, and they still were like, no.
Yeah.
They were going to save the banyan trees, Larry, the banyan trees.
And I was
I know you were.
I was focused on saving the banyan trees too, guys. I just want everyone to know
this was like Fern Gully. Yeah. It might as well have been the last rainforest.
Yeah, so this is it. The city hall for now is going to continue to be kind of dumpy. And,
yeah, I know. I mean, again, it's like, all right, well, if you're enjoying it, then keep enjoying it.
Yeah, and same with the surrounding areas. And that's where we're at. We'll see what Jonathan Perlman does to save Boca further, because now he is city council.
We're going to save it in ways you haven't even thought of.
Yeah, save Boca again.
Yeah,
will be his next platform. Right?
I can already see the hats. They'll be green. They'll be bright green hats, with that same blue font.
Yeah, right. There you go.
Save Boca again.
Save Boca. Keep saving Boca. Yeah.
Oh, man. All right, we ready?
Yeah, let's move on to a city that appreciates development.
Yeah, right? Which is very interesting.
I'm just playing.
No, I mean, but of course, this one has already been built, already leasing, and already moved into its next chapter. We are talking about Sundy Village. Moves ahead with the restoration of the historic Sundy House, which, if you're not familiar with that, that's in Delray Beach at 106 South Swinton Avenue. Phase 1 of Sundy Village delivered 100,000 square feet of office space and hit 88% occupancy almost immediately. Now, Phase 2 is underway, and the oldest house in Delray Beach is getting a full restoration in the process. So look at that.
Sundy Village.
See, and
7 acres.
It's so unfortunate now because, those shots look great. I'm like, but are those all renderings, AI? Like, I don't know what's real anymore, Larry. What is real?
That's real.
Okay.
I've
been to Pineapple Grove. I know that.
I'm just messing with you. Yeah. No, I mean, so let's show on the map where Sundy Village is, so we can. So there you go. I mean, there's a little bit of there.
Yep. Ben was like, no, don't look.
So it's a 7-acre mixed-use campus at the corner of Atlantic and Swinton. It's on the southwest corner of Atlantic and Swinton.
How big is it?
7 acres.
So it's essentially it's the size of one Boca, essentially.
There you go.
Yeah.
And this is just one of the projects in downtown Delray. And what's cool about this project, if you jump on the map to actually show it on the Google map, you can see, we can talk about just Delray, structurally or geographically. Typically anything east of Swinton in downtown Delray on the north and south side is desirable. That's like downtown, east of Swinton. And so this property is west of Swinton. So it's just west of Swinton. So it's starting to push, as we talked about in other cities. When you start to kind of cross over into the new territory, you start to make things interesting for that new area, right? The historically rougher neighborhood of west of Swinton is now on notice that, hey, development is headed that way, right?
I feel like we're talking about like gang turf wars or something.
Not so much that. It's just like on notice that like everybody in the area is kind of like, ooh, this could be interesting. We should maybe spend money privately, private investors, individual guys will spend money in improving property west of Swinton now. And then the next project just west of Sundy will go up along Atlantic, and so now we'll continue to expand Atlantic Ave west of Swinton, which Atlantic Ave is already pretty good. It's like there's a lot going on there. And so to continue to expand west is pretty interesting. So what does it say here? It's developed by Peb Capital and designed by Gensler. And as you said, phase 1 wrapped in September 2025. Mm-hmm. That was the Class A office space, retail dining, and 268 underground parking spaces. I physically haven't been in the property.
No.
Which I'd love to go do and see. Soon we will. And let's see what else it says here. And this area before they did all this work was like completely underutilized. Like there was not much there. It was kind of shoddy. Again, west of Swinton, kind of got shoddy. Right?
It's just incredible, and it kind of speaks to the last 2 decades of Delray Beach.
Yeah.
I mean, because I've met people from there, people that grew up there, and just trying to explain to me, it's like, dude, none of this was here 20 years ago, and I'm like, oh,
literally 20 years ago, nothing, right?
It's crazy. What is this, like mini Dubai or something? Just came up overnight.
Yeah, when I first moved here, which was 20 years ago, a little over 20 years ago now, Delray was nothing. Like it wasn't even talked about. Fort Lauderdale was where you went, maybe West Palm, Clematis, and that's that. And maybe downtown Boca, but even downtown Boca wasn't as interesting.
Yeah.
But it was at least cleaner, developed, and nice. Delray kind of came out of nowhere in 2009, 10, 11, 12, right? It's just like kind of like and now even more so, right?
Yeah. Did they have a Stephen Ross who did all of this? Like what happened?
I think so. It wasn't that. It was the city
collectively.
The city, the public kind of decided, hey, we're going to make downtown Delray something very cool, and we're going to inspire outside investment. And as they did one thing after another, actually I have a good friend, you know him, Jared. He worked on I forget what team he was on, but out of college when we graduated, he went and worked for the city of Delray. And that was one of the things, the event planning, and that's what they were focused on. So then they started bringing in very interesting events, and it kind of became this area where now all of a sudden there was more people coming, who were familiar with it, and they really helped kind of blow up that little downtown Delray area. Now they actually don't have that anymore. They don't really need it as much. Then they needed that, and so this is the white paper on how to Delray's the example on how to like make something out of nothing, which is pretty cool. So and so phase 2, as you mentioned, 79,000 square feet of office, 165 space parking garage, which is great. And so again, just a little bit more restaurant, a little bit more retail, a little bit more office, and in it. Working in downtown Delray, more office space in downtown Delray to me is interesting because like downtown Delray would be a cool place to work, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh, my office.
Like walking. Yeah, I'm gonna go walk to work. You get lunch and you're like wearing sandals in and out of the office. Oh yeah.
And that's just one of the many projects. They're doing a lot of rental apartment complexes in that area. It's a younger city. It's fun. It's a cool vibe. It's a cool vibe when people that are like in their 30s call me and they're relocating to the area, and they call me and they're like, hey, we're moving down. We're thinking Fort Lauderdale, thinking West Palm, thinking Boca. I'm like, have you thought Delray? I think that might be a really good option for you, something really worth considering. I would lean Delray. Personally, I'd probably lean Delray over everything right now. That's for me personally. I really like downtown Delray, and I think it's a great spot to really consider if you're relocating to the area and you're younger, for sure, let alone any other age, because we sell a lot of real estate in Delray and there's a lot of people who really enjoy it. So yeah, I mean, this is a cool project, and this is really going to impact that like west of Swinton corridor, especially the south west of Swinton Corridor, right there. And so that area is transitioning, and we've sold homes in that neighborhood just recently and over the past few weeks. And I think the buyers of those properties are going to, assuming they hold for the next 10 years, they're going to see some significant upside. Yeah, everything just west. If you zoom out a little bit more, Ben, and just go a little west, there we go. So that like whole thing all the way to 95. It's kind of a big area.
Yeah.
So, but the further east you get, closer to Swinton, the better off you are. The sooner you'll get more in line with the path of progress. And all those vacant lots along Atlantic, they're in the process of doing stuff there. Things are happening. They're thinking through proposals. The CRA owns some of that stuff. Private companies own some of that stuff. They're going to expand this thing. They're going to expand this thing west, and that's a lot of land. That's a lot of bars, a lot of restaurants. Delray's going to the moon, man. It's happening. We're going to the moon with Elon. Oh boy. I'm going to get canceled for that.
Yeah. Well, add it to the list.
For the first time, they're going to go to the moon.
Right.
Yeah, that's great. Let's talk about Sundy House a little bit more. So just for anybody who doesn't know what Sundy House is, because we just kind of skipped over this, it was originally built in 1902, listed on, again, the National Register of Historic Places, and that was done in 1992. It's the oldest structure in Delray Beach, for those of you who don't know. It is currently closed for renovation and expected to reopen in late 2026 as the historic centerpiece and southern anchor of the campus. Yes, so Sundy House is a little south. It's a really cool. It used to have a really cool restaurant there. We used to go, like before they closed it up. Really cool spot. When they open back up again, it's probably going to be epic, and it's going to be packed and impossible to get into. And again, it had this kind of Airbnb hotel vibe to it, right? Because they had places to stay there too. So, yep. So that's a little bit about the Sundy House or Sundy Village is, and so Sundy Village is the adjacent project. Sundy House is that original project that was there since 1902. Yep. Okay. Let's talk about what's next.
Okay. We've been talking about all these luxury deals and major developments. Let's close with something that directly affects people watching this and who are trying to buy their first home, because, of course, Palm Beach County just announced something that's worth knowing about. I know we've done previous videos on this topic. This is the Palm Beach County setting to open applications for that home buying assistance program, offering up to $50,000. They've been doing this at least a couple years now.
Different programs, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so Palm Beach County opening a matching grant program that can put up to $50,000 towards a home purchase for eligible working residents. Applications open, mark your calendar, March 30th. So the county launching a home buyer match pilot program offering matching grants. And these range, too, between $10,000 and $50,000, and it's for income-eligible residents who do not currently own a home. Now, that money can be applied towards down payment, closing costs, or repairs. Again, March 30th, and it will be open through April 20th. For the pool of applicants, the county will randomly select 60 to move forward. The full eligibility process, so that window to apply, of course, is short, and I'm sure everyone will wait until April 19th to do it, because that's what we do.
60 applicants?
Yeah, they'll randomly 60. Yeah. They'll select 60 total after they go through the whole pool. Maybe we should do it like Lotto or something, kind of late night TV and do it.
Yeah, on the news. Yeah, that'd be great. That's not a lot of humans.
No, it's not.
Right? So it's like, okay, this is cool, but it's not going to have this huge impact for everyone. But for anyone out there who's interested, check it out. Let's talk about how the program works. The grant is structured as a match, meaning it is tied to what the applicant brings to the table. Eligible residents must meet income requirements set by the county and cannot currently be homeowners. Okay, so they can't buy a second home. Only 60 applicants will be selected from the pre-application pool to move forward, chosen at random. Carlos Serrano, Palm Beach County's Director of Strategic Planning, expects a large volume of interest. Yeah, I would too. Yeah,
well, I was going to say, every year I think there has been a huge turnout with it.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of laughing that they have to put that in there, that, and I guess if they're going to offer you the money to do it, why not that they would put it down for a second home? Just like whatever.
Totally. People are going to try, right? Yeah. Yep.
I mean, if it's there, I get it. You know,
they're gonna work it. Work the angle. All right. So as you said, the funds can cover down payments, closing costs, repair costs, and addresses the three biggest upfront barriers working buyers face, which is to put the need. So I got it. Okay. So yeah, it's just like, hey, we need a down payment. We can't afford a down payment. That's why we can't get into a home, right? So they're trying to help people move towards home ownership. Got it. To put the need in context, a 5% down payment on a $450,000 home is about $22,000. Add closing costs, another $8,000 to $15,000. The total upfront cash requirement can easily reach $35,000 to $40,000 before a buyer ever makes a mortgage payment. Yep, that makes sense. In fact, it's usually more than that, even when people are trying, right? Yeah. And there's other programs already available. These are things we've talked about. We're doing a Hometown Hero deal right now, which is up to $35,000 for down payment and closing costs at lower mortgage rates for teachers, firefighters, healthcare workers, law enforcement, and other law enforcement people and others who qualify. And so long story short, we're doing one of those right now. That's been something that's been in process. If you haven't heard of this and you're watching this and you are one of those types of individuals, or you work as a law enforcement officer, etc., this is something you should check out. We help a lot of law enforcement officers and healthcare workers and teachers, firefighters too, actually.
The frontline workers.
Yeah, those people. We help a lot of those people get this done. We're skilled at this. So if there's something you guys are interested in, you just hearing about this now, don't hesitate to reach out. Let's see. This pilot is separate from the existing program that many residents may not know about. The SHIP Purchase Assistance Program already offers up to $100,000 for income-eligible first-time homebuyers, structured as a deferred loan. Okay, so we've done this with some people too. We've also sold homes for people that have SHIP loans, so we're very familiar with that too. Again, applications fill up fast. This is like this is like in high demand. They're giving money away and / giving loans that are hard to qualify for otherwise, right? Mm-hmm. We just did one where the city basically lent an older lady all the money, or gave her all the down payment. There's all these different programs out there, so we work through them all. We know how to collaborate with the lenders, with the city, etc. Let's see what else. West Palm Beach runs its own first-time homebuyer program, offering up to $100,000 in assistance for purchases within city limits. Delray Beach offers up to $75,000. Boca did something recently too with us, so there's these programs all over. So dig in and see if something applies to you. And then here we go. At a state level, HB 311 is currently moving through the Florida House budget. It would give corporate tax credits to employees who provide up to $5,000 towards an employee's first-time home purchase. Yeah, we were talking about that briefly, right?
That's been on the news.
Cool. Yeah, which is pretty cool. So we'll see if that gets done. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Which I'm curious to know your thoughts on that, the $5,000 one. Is that even worth?
Well, okay, so they're saying, we got to dig into it a little bit, but it says...
I thought we had more notes on that, because that was one that I was kind of like, it sounds nice, but offering your employee up to $5,000, every little bit helps, but...
Yeah, $5,000 is $5,000.
Yeah, right.
Right? Yeah. $5,000 is $5,000. And so the deal here is corporate tax credits for companies providing up to $5,000 towards employees' first-time purchase. So the company gets some kind of tax incentive, and the question is like, how good is that tax incentive? Is it worth $5,000? If it's one for one, cool. But remember, we're all paying for this anyway. Yeah. This is like tax dollars, guys. So like the money isn't just like coming out of thin air, which everybody thinks is the case. This is just a way to help the lower income individuals and or people who are working get a little bit more of an edge towards buying a home. And I think generally speaking, that's good. But just remember, this isn't free for us. We're paying the taxes for this without question.
The real you got to squeeze in the real talk there.
The real talk, it's a thing. So it's just like, think about the budget, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about Florida's Live Local 4.0 proposal as it hits a roadblock over ADU and short-term rental disputes, which is interesting. So Florida's most powerful housing affordability law is up for another round of updates, but a fight between the House and Senate over backyard cottages could kill the entire reform package before the session ends. This is interesting to me because I don't feel like this is the hill to die on. So I'm not sure why this is a big deal, but and we'll talk about what I mean by that and what that is. But lawmakers are pushing what is being called Live Local 4.0, a new set of updates to the 2023 Live Local Act, and we've talked about this,
right,
that would expand workforce housing near transit corridors, adjust height and density rules, loosen parking requirements, and add legal tools for developers to fight back against cities that block affordable projects, because this is happening, right? On the other hand, some of these cities don't want these huge, massive, insanely huge, like crazy projects being put up around certain residential areas. So this is like, I can understand both sides of this. We were talking about, what's the mall, the Galleria, where the guy was just like, we're just going to build
Fort Lauderdale.
We're just going to build the biggest project ever, and there's nothing you could do about it. And the guy that's next door living in his single family home is like, but my house is here. Yeah, so there's positives and negatives to this, but we do have an affordable housing crisis, and the Live Local Act is or has been effective at getting projects pushed through. And so there's some updates they want to make to this. It seems like the idea and the concept is good, and it's just a matter of like, how can we strike a balance where this is somewhat fair for all parties, right? Mm-hmm. So the problem is that both chambers are deadlocked over a single issue: whether cities should be allowed to ban new accessory dwelling units from being used as short-term rentals, is basically the gist, right? So it's ADUs, which is like, okay, I have a house and I'm going to build an additional dwelling unit in my backyard, which is basically another little house. And I'm going to have different setbacks and all rules around that so I can squeeze one in. So 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom, basically little house, right? And I'm going to Airbnb that. I'm going to short-term rent it so I can make some money, right? And this Live Local Act is saying, we should be, if we want to do this, you can kind of push it through, and the cities can't stop you. And on the other hand, the disagreement is like, well, the cities should have the right to like,
for example, I mean, technically, Airbnbs, you can't have them here, right? In theory.
So this would be interesting to see what happens with that. So, like, as an example, say this passes. Boca Raton generally says, hey, you can't Airbnb an ADU, but now all of a sudden the state, through the Live Local Act, is like, you're good with that. You can do that. Like, who gets the right to do that? And in Boca, the neighbors would be up in arms over this normally if you Airbnb something in Boca, right? It's not really allowed, although you
I guess I'm a little confused on the pushback. Like, why are they so against it? I don't.
I think just like cities want control over whether or how they manage the rules around short-term rentals. Uh-huh. And this is like saying, well, no longer do you have those rights, because the state's saying you can build this thing.
Okay.
And so that's interesting. If that disagreement does not get resolved in the next few weeks, the entire update package could fail this session, which is interesting. Okay, what Live Local 4.0 would do. The proposed updates would adjust height and density rules for workforce housing, modifying parking requirements, expand tax exemptions for developers, and create new incentives for projects near transit stations and in rural areas. Basically saying, on some level, you can do more stuff, and the city can't really prevent it, right? Mm-hmm. So they're kind of expanding those things. One of the most significant additions is a proposal to change to the Florida Fair Housing Act that would allow developers to sue local governments that discriminate against affordable housing projects. Kind of interesting. This comes after a Florida appeals court ruled in 2024 that cities could not easily be sued under the existing law, after Coral Rock Development Group challenged Pompano Beach for rejecting an affordable housing project. Kind of interesting.
Yeah.
I would say this. My general feeling about like the cities and these governments, because I've been in situations with the buildings we own, where they're basically like, they basically run the show.
Right.
You know what I mean? They're just like, do what we say, pay the number, or tough luck. There's no other option.
Really?
Right? And so I have some sympathy for the people that are like, the city wronged me and I can't do anything about it because you can't really sue a city, I think you should be able to sue a city. Now, the problem with that is then you get all the goons that want to sue the city that shouldn't be suing the city.
Right. You get the shakedowns just come running.
Yeah, exactly. So there's like a balance here, and this sucks. And, and I understand why you don't want the city to be easily sued because, again, you get all these goons running around doing that. So there's more than 180 projects across Florida that have been proposed under the Live Local Act since 2023. That's kind of interesting. Though only a small number have broken ground, these updates are designed to accelerate that pipeline. So, yep, that makes sense. I mean, there's been probably a lot of them are in South Florida that have broken ground or are on the way to breaking ground. Local governments have been pushing back hard. Hillsborough County is currently suing the state over the original Live Local Act, and that litigation reflects a broader tension between state housing mandates and local zoning control that has not gone away at all, right? And then we got the ADU bill that we just talked about, accessory dwelling units, backyard cottages, garage apartments, in-law suites are at the center of the stalemate. Both chambers agree that the city should be required to allow ADUs on single-family lots. They disagree on what those units can be used for specifically. And again, this goes back to short-term rentals. This goes back to Airbnb. The Senate version allows cities to ban ADUs from being converted into short-term rentals. The House version does not allow cities to restrict them in that way. Yep.
Well, obviously, this is an issue that's not going away anytime soon.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if this gets done. Again, like I said, I don't know if this is the hill to die on, the ADU thing, but I understand how it could be helpful. Here's my thing with this, though. Okay, it's not cheap to build stuff in South Florida. It just isn't. So if you're going to build an ADU, like an actual separate additional dwelling unit, kind of disconnected from the house in your backyard, which, by the way, a lot of homes in South Florida, the lots are too small to even do that.
Yeah,
so
but if you could actually pull it off.
But if you could do it, the cost associated with building it and the debt you'd have to take, because you probably take a HELOC on the house. Well, most people would, right, if they didn't have the cash.
Yeah.
They'd take a HELOC and they'd go build this thing, and then they go rent it out. The math isn't that interesting. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So for me, what we've looked, because I've looked at this on some of our properties, and I'm like, okay, if we do this addition, what do we get out of this? And it's just not.
The juice isn't worth the squeeze.
I'd rather just go buy another property. That's what we've concluded on some of our construction projects. We've gone through the full process in Boynton to build another 4, 8 units, 10 units on different properties. And we've looked at these things and we're like, okay, we got approval. We got the engineering drawings done. Everything's done. And then we start kind of really diving in the math. So we have these approvals to do this stuff. City's granted it. They've approved it. And then we start looking at the math and we're like, we might as well just buy more property than spend the money on this thing, because the math to really build these things on the smaller scale is not as interesting. You kind of have to be scaled up. You have to be building big Live Local projects to start to make this thing really interesting. Mm-hmm. And high level, me from an investor perspective in general is just it's not easy to buy things in South Florida and make anything make sense from an investment perspective. So I don't know what even we're talking about here. Most of the stuff in general is just not great. But to give people the opportunity to do it
should be okay. That makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So it's if you want to do it, have at it. You're not going to make any money, but it is legal.
In most cases, I think it's just not that easy to really make this math work. I think there's risk associated with it. You're building a structure, you're executing on this thing, and then you got to run this Airbnb, and not everybody can do that.
No.
Let's just say that, right? So,
anyway. All right. We're about ready to wrap it up here.
On that note, let's call it.
Okay, we're calling it. On behalf of Larry Mastropieri, broker, owner of the Mastropieri Group, I'm John Laws of Discover South Florida. I want to thank you all for tuning in once again.